Hello and welcome to the LibraryPalooza Lookback. I'm Abhinaya G from Clark High School, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with the author Faith Erin Hicks. Miss Hicks is a Canadian writer and artist. She worked in the animation industry before writing and drawing comics full-time. Her published works have earned a spot on the Texas Library Association Maverick list, including The War of Ellesmere, Brain Camp, Friends with Boys, The Adventures of Superhero Girl, and many, many more. So a huge welcome to Miss Faith Erin Hicks. How are you doing, Miss Hicks?
Yay! Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. It's a pleasure having you here.
Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's start off maybe a few years ago in 2017. You were featured with a group of authors, Lauren Oliver, Jay Asher, Lisa Yee, Lauren Kay, and Alex London. So tell us what you remember about this event.
I remember it was really fun. It was definitely looking back on all of the book festivals and comic conventions I've been to over the past few years. That one was definitely a memorable one. Everyone was really nice, which is,
Okay.
yeah, especially the fellow authors. I thought they were all lovely people, and it was just really fun to get to know them. I didn't know any of them ahead of time. And sometimes it's like I make comics and they make word books. They do novels, prose.
Yeah.
So what I do is very different from what they do. Um, and it's just really exciting to meet people who do a different kind of creative work from yourself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so how did you feel like meeting them in real life? And
I'm always a little nervous. I'm a little shy. And then, yeah, it's like I'm the only cartoonist. So coming in, sometimes it can be a little intimidating. When I go to comic book conventions, it's very different because like that is, an occasion specifically for comics.
yeah.
And events like LibraryPalooza are very different because it's readers of all kinds people who might not necessarily read comics, people who are maybe not familiar with comics as an art form. So it can be a little bit intimidating because I feel like I'm an ambassador for my art form. So I always want to go in there and, present comics and present myself the best way I possibly can.
So you attend many, many different types of festivals, right? So what do you enjoy most about participating in these festivals?
I definitely love meeting readers. That's a wonderful experience. I also really love the opportunity. Like sometimes I get the opportunity to go to festivals and I get the opportunity to do like a visual presentation of my work, or I get the opportunity to draw in front of people, and like that's really wonderful and exciting to me because unlike novels, comics has a visual component. And I feel like that's when my work shines the most, when I have the opportunity to present the visual part of my work.
So would you like to sketch out or maybe draw anything out right now for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to do a drawing of the main character from a comic that I actually was in the process of coming out while I was at LibraryPalooza. So I did this fantasy trilogy called The Nameless City that
Yes.
came out, and the second book, no, only the first book was out when I was at LibraryPalooza. So now that it's 2021, all three books in the series are out. And yeah, it's a fantasy adventure about friendship and power and relationships. And it has like villainy and sword fighting and lots of like running and jumping and that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite things that I've ever done. It's inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, by Full Metal Alchemist, which is a manga series that I really, really love. And also by Bone by Jeff Smith, which is a wonderful comic book series. Yeah, so this is the main character. Her name is Rat. It's actually like a nickname that she picked for herself, and her real name is a secret. But you find it out at the end of book three. So
Okay.
I want to find out
Wow, a
Rat.
long way.
Gotta read all three. Oh, so
Okay.
just so people know, I my work is actually done in my process is a hybrid traditional digital process. So right now I'm just drawing entirely traditionally. So I'm using traditional pencils and pens. And this is a kohl erase pencil. And the reason that I like using these is that they're very light blue. So when I draw a character and then I ink over top with a black pen, and then I scan this drawing into the computer, the blue goes away. Like it's so light that it just goes away. So I don't have to worry about erasing, which I absolutely love because then I don't have to erase.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's like a life hack, almost.
Yeah, it totally is. I used to draw with graphite pencils, just regular, like, the yellow pencils that you get
Yeah.
in the box. And I hated erasing. And then when I found out about these blue pencils, I was like, yes, that is for me.
It's mine now.
Yes, exactly. And you can get them, like, they're super cheap. You can get them at your local art supply store for like, I don't know, a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Rat has these little braidy things. And that's how her hair is. And then she has this little nose that I love drawing. It's so cute. And then she has lovely big dark eyes. And then she has these kind of like scraggly eyebrows, which I also love drawing.
It's neat.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, even though you drew it like super quickly, it's amazing already. Wow.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so this is Rat. And there she is, just like that.
Yeah, she's beautiful. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
And then after this, what are your steps? You scan it, you color it.
Here, I'll switch back. Camera front. Yeah, so after the drawing is done, so this is what it looks like. So after the drawing is done, and I've inked it, I'm happy with it, then I will scan it into the computer using a scanner. You might have access to these kinds of things at school. And then I basically have like a digital copy of the original page, and then that is sent away to a colorist. So some comic book artists, they do everything. They write, they draw, they color. I do most of it. I write and I draw, but I don't color because I like coloring, if I'm like doing some art on the side, but I'm a very, very slow colorist. So in order for me to get my comics out there as quickly as possible, I do work with a professional colorist. So The Nameless City was colored by a woman named Jordi Belair. And she actually, at the time that she was coloring that book, she lived in Ireland. So we would work together, me in Canada and her in Ireland.
Yeah, got it.
That's basically the process. The page gets a digital copy of the page sent off to the colorist, and then get to see it. And if there's any changes that need to be made, they get made. And then that's it. That's the completion of a comic book page. And that's one.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
so much hard work gets put into one page. It's amazing, honestly.
Yeah, it's a very long process. It will typically take me, so I work full-time in comics. Comics is my job. So it will typically take me about a year, like 12 months, start to finish, to write and draw a new graphic novel. So yeah, they are very time consuming to make.
Yeah, so more about your writing process. What have been some writing or professional highlights since being part of LibraryPalooza?
Oh, man, I've had a lot of things happen since 2017. I've been very fortunate. So the third Nameless City book came out, so that trilogy is complete. I was super excited to just see it out in the world and see people be able to sit down and read the whole thing. And then the series actually won an Eisner Award, which is the highest honor in comics. So very grateful for that.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm thrilled. My Eisner is back there on the shelf.
Perfect. Yep.
And then I had another book come out, and that book was Pumpkinheads, and it was a collaboration with the young adult author Rainbow Rowell. So that book the reaction to it was incredible. It got on the New York Times bestselling list. People absolutely loved it. So I'm absolutely thrilled that book was so embraced. And then now I just finished up work on my next graphic novel, which will be out at the beginning of next year. And it is about horses. From like about 5 years old until, my late teens, until I basically left home for university. I was like a horse crazy girl, and I rode horses. I desperately wanted my own horse. Never happened, unfortunately, but horses are such a huge part of my life. So this new graphic novel, it's called Ride On, And it's basically about my experiences as a horse girl, going to the stables, the relationships I had with the other girls at the stable, the drama that would sometimes happen because, so,
Yeah, got it.
yeah. So I'm really excited for that one to come out next year.
Yeah, and I am super excited to see it and read it and enjoy it. So yeah, has your writing process kind of changed or maybe evolved since your appearances Library Palooza?
No, it's remained the same. I mean, even with the pandemic going on, to be honest, my work is kind of the same. I work from home. So in a weird way, I was kind of prepared to
Okay.
like live in isolation for the last couple of years while we, struggle through this pandemic. So yeah, I work from home and, every day it's just sitting down, looking at my computer screen and drawing a
Yeah.
so yeah, it's pretty much remained the same. At this point, uh, comics is what I've done for a very long time, and I really love making them.
Avatar is a well-known series, especially your books, honestly. Almost everyone in my class, in my generation, to be honest, knows about Avatar. And I mean, it's so big. What was your experience with Avatar? Like, how did you feel once it was such a big hit?
Um, I mean, I actually started watching Avatar when it was still on the air. So like this was back in the aughts. It started airing, I think, in 2005, and then the final season aired in 2008. And I remember I started watching it in the gap between seasons 2 and seasons 3. Like there was like a huge gap between season 2 and season 3. There was like
Yeah,
a year
a
of
year.
imagine.
Mhm, mhm.
And at that time, I was actually working in the animation industry, but I was having like a really miserable time. Like I hated my job. Like I was working on these horrible shows, and it just felt like I had this incredible love of animation, and I still do, but it just felt like at the time, like I was struggling to love this art form
Yeah.
because I was having such a bad experience in the working in the industry. And then when I found Avatar, it was like, oh, finally, here's this
Mhm,
amazing show and I can just enjoy it. And yeah, it was super
mhm.
amazing. And then years later, actually about the time that I went to LibraryPalooza in early 2017, I got the offer to work on the comics. And it was just like, oh,
Just the perfect thing ever.
it was just like, oh my gosh, to get to work with the show's creators, Brian Konietzko and Mike DiMartino. And yeah, it's been really exciting. Oh, and I mean, I don't know when this is going to be broadcast, but there is a brand new Avatar graphic novel coming out next week, February 16th, and it's all about Toph. And I wrote it, and it's drawn
Yeah.
by my collaborator, so I really
Mhm.
will pick it up. A lot of love went into it.
Also, aren't you working on another one called Avatar: The Last Airbender, Suki Alone, which is expected on June 22nd, maybe?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure the exact due date, but yeah, so Peter Wortman, the artist who draws these books, we've done three standalone Avatar graphic novels. The first one came out last year. It was about Katara, and she joins a group of pirates, basically. And then the Toph one is coming out in February, and then the third and final one is about Suki, and it's about her time when she was imprisoned in the Boiling Rock, the water, or sorry, not Water Tribe, the Fire Nation prison. And so she's there, and like it's like the lowest point in her life, and she's struggling to survive. So it's very, very different from the Toph and Katara stories. This one is gonna make you cry. Well, I mean,
Okay.
it does.
Okay. Okay, we're ready for tissues. Okay. Yep. So, what can your readers maybe look forward to reading from you? So, mainly these two books and then Ride On? Or is there?
Yes, so Ride On will be out in, I think, February of 2022, so next year, about a year from now. So I'm very excited for that. But I
Yeah.
also have a reissue of an older graphic novel coming out in July this year. So if
Okay.
ago, I had a book come out called Nothing Can Possibly Go Wrong. And it's a story about these teenagers, these two guys, Nate and Charlie. Nate is a nerd, Charlie is a jock, but they've been friends for a really long time. And then they end up competing against each other in a high school election, and things go horribly wrong from there. So it's got like cheerleaders and like robot fights. Like, I don't know if you've seen
Okay.
BattleBots, but you know, the characters go to a BattleBots style
Oh,
competition.
oh yeah, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
have.
so, like people build robots and like fight each.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's very comedic, it's very funny, and it was released as black and white a few years ago, and now there's going to be a color edition. So it looks beautiful. Hopefully new readers will pick it up. So if you haven't checked
Yeah.
Possibly Go Wrong, check it out when it comes out in July, and you get the beautiful
Okay.
experience.
Also, were there any like inspirations in your own life, maybe different authors that you've based some of the characters on, or many of the events, or anything that you've been inspired by?
Yeah, I mean, Nemo City, I did mention it when I was doing my sketching. Nemo City is absolutely inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, also by Bone, the wonderful comic series by Jeff Smith, and then also by Full Metal Alchemist. I love manga, you know, like Japanese comics are amazing and great, and a lot of the comics that I read now are manga. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that author in particular, Hiromu Arakawa, like I think she's amazing. She has a new series out called Silver Spoon that is about kids at agriculture school, like kids learning to be farmers, and it's amazing. It's so good. So yeah, if you like stories about friendship and cows, then definitely check out Silver
Yep.
Spoon.
We all love cows. It's great.
Yeah.
Yep. But just to wrap it all up, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I just want to say I love comics. I'm so thrilled that your generation is so enthusiastic about comics. Allows me to make a living drawing comics. So yeah, I really appreciate it. You guys are paying my rent. And yeah, if you're interested in making comics, I say just dive right in and make some terrible comics, and who
Yep.
knows, you might end up doing it for a living, like I do.
Yeah. But your
And
comics aren't terrible. But yeah.
much. Thank you. Yes. And also you can find me on Instagram and Twitter just at Faith Erin Hicks if you want to say hi.
But thank you so much for chatting with us. We know you're busy with your amazing books. And yeah, overall, thank you so much for joining us today on LibraryPalooza Look Back. We look forward to the time that you can join us again in San Antonio. And yeah, thank you so much, Miss Faith Erin Hicks. It was a pleasure, honestly.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for your incredibly thoughtful questions. It was lovely to meet you.
Yeah, it was great to meet you. It was an honor, honestly. Yeah, all right. Bye. Thank you so much.